Beloved, shalom, beloved, shalom. Greetings to each and every one of you, and welcome to the Love Circle. Now, today we are going to be talking about KAYITZ, which is summertime in Hebrew, and we are going to be talking about Song of Songs, the King and the Queen. As many of you know, this is like poetry, and it is in the Torah and also in the Bible. So many people love to talk about Song of Songs because of its deep, rich, romantic poetry, which is very detailed. And this woman, and this is just an illustration or an example of the king and the queen corresponding with one another. So I just want to give some background so you will know. Of course, I know most of you already know. Song of Songs is also known as Canticle of Canticles or the Song of Solomon. And these poems speak a lot about springtime, which is Aviv, and summertime, which is KAYITZ in Hebrew. And from the writings that took place in Jerusalem. The correct term is Jerusalem and Yisrael, but today it's not exactly spelled the way it used to be spelled. So starting in the first chapter, Song of Songs, it is the dialogue between the king and this particular woman. Then we're going to talk a little bit about that today, and then we're going to talk about some other illustrations of the king and the queen. And whether you're married, unmarried, betrothed, widowed, or in no way, shape, or form partaking in the marriage covenant, that is perfectly fine. There is something here for everyone to partake of. And in the original text, Song of Songs is known as Shir HaShirim, which is Song of Songs in the Hebrew language. And it starts off in this first chapter. This is the first chapter of Song of Songs. Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for better is thy love than wine. That just gives you an example of how deep it is. And in verse 4, draw me, so we will run after thee. The Melech hath brought me into his chatterim or chambers. We will be glad and rejoice in thee. We will extol thy love more than Yahin. Uprightly have they loved thee. And in verse 6, let your eyes burn not into me, because I am black, because the Shemesh hath burned its eyes into me. B'nai Imi were angry with me. They made me the keeper of the vineyards, but mine own Kerem vineyard have I not kept. So there's a lot of dialogue, there's a lot of background. And then in chapter 13, the fig tree putteth forth her early figs, and the vines with the tender grape give forth fragrance. Arise, my love, my fair one, and come away. It's exciting. And in verse 14, O my dove that art in the clefts of the rock, in the setter, the secret place of the cleft. Let me see thy countenance. Let me hear thy voice, for sweet is thy voice, and thy countenance is lovely. And Song of Songs is amazing poetry. And you can read it in your own time. But I really want to highlight chapter 6 and 8 and read a few verses from that. And then go into the next illustration of the king and the queen. Because during the summertime, or KAYITZ, many of our ancestors, they were betrothed, they were having these wedding ceremonies in the huppah, which is the wedding canopy. So it's such a rich history and very interesting to know of. And this is chapter 6. I'm going to read it. Where is my beloved gone? O thou fairest among Nashim, where is thy beloved turned aside, that we may seek him with thee? Dodi, my beloved, is gone down into its garden, to the beds of spices, to feed in the gardens, and to gather lilies. I am my beloved's, and my beloved is mine. He feedeth among the Shushim. Thou art Yahephe, O my love, as Tiseh, lovely as Jerusalem, awe-inspiring as bannered troops on the march. Turn away thine eyes from me, for thy overwhelm me. Thy hair is an edder of goats that descend from Gilead. Thy teeth are as an edder, flock of ewes, which go up from the wasting, whereof every one is matched, and here is no one missing among them. As a half pomegranate is thy temple within thy veil. There are 80 Malakat, which is queens, and 80 concubines, and young unmarried virgins without number. My dove, Tamat, my perfect love, my undefiled, is unique. She is the only one of her mother. She is the choice one of her that bore her. The Banat saw her. They called her blessed, yeah. The Melakat and the Pelagashim praise her. Who is she that looks forth like the dawn? Yafeh as the Levanah moon, clear as the sun, and awe-inspiring as banner troops on the march. And in verse 13 of chapter 6, return, return, O Shulamite, return, that we may gaze upon thee. What will ye see in the Shulamite? As it were the Melakat, Makayam, dance of the Makayam. And then verse 8, there's still a lot of dialogue. There's still a lot of, and in verse 4, I charge you, O Banat Jerusalem, that ye arouse nor awake Yahweh, the love, till it please. I'll repeat 4 again. I charge you, O Banat Jerusalem, that ye arouse nor awake Ha-Ahava, the love, till it pleases. And then there is so much more dialogue between the king and the queen. And this is verse 14 of 8. Make haste, Dodi, my beloved, and be thou like to a gazelle or a young deer upon the mountains where spices grow. So there's a lot of dialogue about the land and flowers and fruit and all of that, which is very interesting. It's very, very interesting. And as you know, we also have the example of Boaz and Ruth as she was gleaning in the fields and she was a widow. And more than likely, honestly, she probably had no intention of marrying again or being involved with someone else since her husband was no longer on the earth. So there's a lot to grasp from that as well. And then she listened to Naomi, and Naomi gave her some instructions. And Boaz definitely pursued Ruth. And Ruth was in the right place, in the right position, in the right posture at the right time, being obedient and doing exactly what it was that she was supposed to be doing in that season when this man, Boaz, found her. And then you have the illustration, the story of King Xerxes and Queen Esther, which many love to talk about, which is a powerful love story of how she became queen and how she intervened to save a nation from Haman. And then you have the wonderful story of Yitzhak, which you may know as Isaac, and Rebekah, which was love at first sight. And they were what you probably would call a power couple, a powerhouse couple. Definitely what many refer to today as the kingdom marriage, those who were put together by our Maker, our Creator. And it's very important. It's extremely important to be sure that this is the one who our Creator, our Maker has chosen for you. Adonai, many different names for our Creator. However, those are the different functions. And we know that it's really exciting, the marriage covenant, because this is your best friend, your lover, your partner, your life partner, the one that you do everything with, business, romance, entrepreneurship, everything, taking care of the home, the children, if you have children. And if you don't have children, helping to take care of the community. Even if you have children, you could still help to take care of the community in so many ways. So we have a lot of examples. We have a lot to help to guide us so that we will know that this is a wonderful covenant. Marriage is indescribable. It's no way you can describe it, but all of us yearn for it. All of us desire it. And it's like a love circle because it goes on and on. It's continuous. It doesn't end. The word that comes to me is infinity. So I want to share with you a real life story that happened to me, that occurred a couple of days ago. I happened to be outside taking a walk, and for some reason, the word boat was being highlighted. And I saw a sign of a boat. And what came to me later was the love boat. So I met some people, and they purchased a boat, and a boat represents a lot. We're going to talk more about the boat later, but the boat represents a lot in the spiritual realm. And I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, there's a boat right here. Like, you don't have to go search for a boat. There's like, it's not a lake around, but like a boat right here in close proximity to my home. And I was like, this is amazing. And if you think about all of the different stories connected to a boat, you could think about Yonah, the one who was thrown overboard, thrown off the boat. And yeah, Yonah was overthrown. Yonah was thrown off the boat because the storm was brewing. But anyway, Yonah was thrown overboard from the boat. And if you think about it, a lot of our ancestors, they had boats, and that was their way of transportation, because perhaps they didn't have planes then or other modes of transportation. So possibly they were on horses, camels, donkeys, boats. And it's amazing how over time we have new methods and modes of transportation, but the boat is still here. The boat is still around. The boat is still popular. People still desire to get on a boat and get into the water. And there's so many stories about boats. We could just talk about it on and on. However, the next story is not a king and a queen, but it's a prince and a princess, which is being talked about so much right now, especially when it comes to the kingdom marriage videos, which is Cinderella. And when you think about Cinderella, when you think about that story, it's like so many people remake that movie over and over and over again because it is so absolutely amazing and awesome. And the prince finds her, and then the slipper fits, and it's just such a wonderful story, such a beautiful romance. And it's a love story, a true love story. And we need more of those because there are a lot of stories that people have that have wonderful endings, that are full of joy, that are wonderful, but many people may not share them. So we have to definitely share our life story and our love story, especially as it pertains to marriage, the marriage covenant, the king and the queen. And the king and the queen have a crown. However, they also have rings. So it's like our Maker has given our kingdom husbands the crown, the robe, the ring, the sandals, the boots, the shofar, the scepter, and so much more. Just think about it this way. Perhaps your marriage promise may seem to be delayed, but before that king can come and crown you as his queen, that king first has to be crowned by our Maker and be ready. That king has to be prepared to be your protector, your provider, and to be strong and to know exactly how to fight the battles in life, which are mostly spiritual. That king has to go through a time of preparation, just like the queen. And many may not talk about that, but the king needs to be prepared. The king needs to be ready. The king needs to have mentors or spiritual father and spiritual mother to help to guide that man so that that man can go and do exactly what he is supposed to do. And we as the women, we as the wives, as the queens, we are to reign and rule with our kings in the palace, the castle, whatever you like to call it, the mansion, the tiny house, the big house, and everything else in between. And it's wonderful because this is the thing about life. Love is actually the key to everything. Love is what is going to propel us to the next level. That is going to open doors for us. Love. when we have that true love, that divine love in us, that authentic love. Ahava in Hebrew is love, Ahavah. However, it means something different in every different in language. I think in Italian it's amor, and in French it's amore. Regardless, we all need love. I need love, you need love, we need love. We need it more than we realize, because when we have it in our lives, when we have those healthy relationships, when we have the right perspective about love and marriage and our other relationships with family, friends, neighbors, associates, business connections, and everything else, and everyone else, everything is going to fit so much better together. And when we will remember these two things, to love is to give, and to love is to forgive. So there's a lot of giving going on when it comes to love. It requires us to be mature and wise and humble, and also requires us to be compassionate and very kind to others who may not be exactly where we are in our lives. Some don't know how to love. Some people have been so rejected. Some people have been so hurt that their hearts are wounded. So may we have compassion for everyone, not just our kingdom spouse, not just our children or our spiritual children, not just our neighbors or our close friends, but for all that we cross paths with every day, because we never know what somebody else is going through. We never know what their story is. We never know what happened to that person. Perhaps that person is going through grief because their spouse is not here anymore, their husband or their wife, or they lost a child. We don't know why people can be so grumpy, why people can be so angry, why people could be so cruel and mean. But in order for us to prosper, we must have that foundation of true love, real love, and not being afraid or fearful to love. Love is so amazing. Love is so awesome, so incredible, so priceless. And we should treasure it. We definitely should treasure it. And we should definitely embrace love in every way, shape, and form. May we go about and spread that love out into the world, in every nation, every tribe, and every tongue, every day, every second, every moment, because we need love. Love is what we need to succeed. When we have love, we have the victory. Money will not get you to the next level. It will not. That's temporary. It's material. But when you have that true, real, authentic love, that love that is unconditional, that love that is immeasurable, when that love is poured into you and placed into you and you pour it out into others, I'm telling you, it's stronger than a fire. It's stronger than a wind. It's sweeter than any fruit, sweeter than honey. It's better than anything. That's why people have sung so many songs and wrote so many songs about love. When you think about it, many may want to avoid love because of their past and being hurt. However, embrace love today and know that it is going to fill your life with joy and shalom and everything that is so much better than good and great. It's going to be beyond wonderful. So don't forget, share your stories, share your testimonies, share your answered prayer. Maybe you have a story to share about your marriage or your children or something that is connected with a miracle. that is connected with a blessing, that is going to give somebody else hope, that is going to give somebody else encouragement in this season and time, in this hour. We all need hope. We all need love. May Hashem bless you and keep you. May Hashem shine favor, grace, and everything that is good and perfect upon you and your love line and your bloodline, and give you shalom. May we always be in a place of thanksgiving. May we always have gratitude and be grateful and thankful. Somebody is not able to talk or walk. Somebody is not able to see or hear. Somebody is not able to eat or drink or sleep. Somebody may be in the hospital, or somebody may be at their home and unable to get out of the bed because they're not well in their body. I'm telling you, everything that we need is inside of us. Everything that we need for this life, we have it. It only has to be stirred up. It only has to be pushed out. We only need to be in the right place at the right time, with the right attitude, the right heart, the right spirit, with the right people, for everything to be in right alignment. And we can do it as long as our Maker, our Creator, is in the midst of it. It will work. It will definitely work. So as you go forth, have a wonderful day. Have a beautiful day. And remember, you are loved. You are a priceless treasure. There is no one else like you. You are rare, no matter what anybody else says. Incline your ears to hear the voice of truth and to be obedient to the voice of truth, to our Maker, our Creator. There is none greater. There is no one greater. There is nothing greater. Gold is not better. Silver is not better. Money is not better. Nothing better. Nobody better than our Maker, our Creator, who has formed us, who has made everything and everyone in this planet and beyond, in the universe, the stars, the moon, and that ball of fire, the sun. So as you go forth, know that your story is not over yet. Chapters are still being written. Pages are still being written right here and right now. You have the victory. This is the victory season, marriage season, baby blessing season, wealth season, and everything that is a blessing season. So grasp it right now. Declare and decree it over your life. Make those affirmations every day. Never come into agreement with what is not your portion. Speak words that are love-giving, life-giving, those words that are positive, good, sweet, and pleasant. That's right. So you have gifts. Use your gifts. Use your gifts, use your talents and abilities to help others, and you will definitely always be prosperous, and you will go from victory to victory. We are in the winner's circle. Congratulations, Mazel Tov, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Shalom. And please like, share, subscribe, comment, and connect. Shifrah Yocheved Yisrael at gmail.com. And just remember, you are loved. And please like, share, subscribe, comment, and connect. Don't forget, definitely want to connect with you and hear your story. Definitely want to connect with you and pray with you and pray for you and celebrate your times of victory. Shalom Aleichem, which means completeness to each and every one of you. And just remember, we are here to be a blessing to others. We are blessed to be a blessing. Peace and unity is our portion. Shalom. Salutations and greetings and bonjour.